Okay, so today we started with our notes journal, and so like that you have this in the video also, and we put the first page being classifying numbers, row number system. That's page one. We pasted this. The notes will be on the left side. This is sixth grade notes, and here's where we're gonna do some problems for today at home to try it out. Page two will be the opposites. The opposites is a number that's opposite. For example, the opposite of -5 would be 5, and so on. Okay. And in the back, we have the absolute value. Those bars is the notation for absolute value. And I'll explain all of this, but I just wanted to show you what we first did at the beginning of the class. But in the front page, we're going to start taking notes for seventh grade, something simple. Okay? So let me ask a kid, I didn't make nobody count yesterday? No? Okay. Yeah? Yeah, she counted, right? And then I stopped there or what? Right now, if I find somebody like in the other classes I found the custodian. He came in and he was like kind of a little bit worried. But I said, nomás cuente, señor. Y dijo, ¿cómo que cuente? Nomás cuente. Y uno, dos. Good. I also caught your counselor. Your counselor was panicking too because they think that I'm gonna embarrass them. But I just told them count, and they're like kind of like, what do you mean? Count. That's what I mean. They took longer than her. She quickly counted 1, 2, 3. Anyway, those we said, I don't know if I got to tell you, those are called your natural numbers. Natural numbers. Okay, natural numbers are your counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Why are they called natural numbers? Because naturally all of us begin with 1, 2. Okay? So long time ago in the history of humankind, somebody said, how are we gonna quantify things? How are we gonna figure out how much do you have? By counting, right? So that's the first system that came into life. Natural numbers, questions. But then when they got to number 9, they said, now what do we do? What are we gonna do now that we're at 9? So they said we need another digit. What digit makes you go continue to the next one? But what digit makes it happen? 0. So the 0 says, I'm going to be part of this to help you out so you guys can go to the tens, hundreds, thousand, 10,000, million, so on, right? And those are called wholes, your whole numbers. So 0 comes, he becomes the first whole of all wholes, but also these are wholes also now. So you see that 5? That 5 can say, hey, I'm a natural number, but I'm also a what? A whole number. Okay? These become part of the wholes. So who's included now? 0 is included. Questions? Okay? As life continued to go, somebody said, what happens when we owe money? When we owe somebody money? Or when in football, you lose yards? Or in the stock market, it drops? Or in the temperature, it goes below 0? What do we do now? We can't use those. What? Good job, sir. Negatives. Very good, sir. Those are called integers. So then integers come into the system and say, you know what? In case we ever need uh, to pay somebody, so I'm going to go -3, comma, -2, comma, -1. Those are your integers. But guess who's also part of the integers? The rest of them. So guess what? 0 would be an integer. 1 would be an integer. 2 would be an integer. 3. Okay? So as we're coming up with new systems, they continue being part of it. So let me kind of refresh everything. 2. 2 can say, hey, I'm a natural number, I'm a whole, and I'm an integer. 2 can say that. 2 can say I'm a natural, whole, and integer. 0, He cannot say, hey, I'm a natural, because we don't count with zero. We don't start 0, 1. Nobody starts that way. That's not natural. He can just say, zero can just say, I'm a what? Whole and an integer, because he's part of the system. The negatives, they could say I'm integers. That's it. The negatives cannot say, oh, I'm a whole and I'm no, you're just an integer right now at this moment. Questions? But then somebody says, what happens when we fall between? Like, for example, what's between 1 and 2? 1.5. 1.5, 1.1, 1.6. What? Those are your fractions and what? Decimals. Those are called rational numbers. And I'm just gonna give you examples because there's so many. I mean, you can have a fraction like 1/4, comma 0.24. By the way, you could also be negative, negative 1/5, negative 0.5. You could also be improper, like 17/4. Okay, those are the ones that fall between. Any questions so far? And then the next one will be real, irrational, and imaginary numbers, but that's for more for like algebra, 8th grade already. Okay, this is 7th grade. What we need to know in 6th grade at least is this: walking in rain, walking whole numbers in integers, rain, rational numbers. That's what we need to know. When you get to 7th grade, but we're skipping 7th grade, I hope, but you'll need it in 8th grade anyway. Also, natural. Never walk in rain because now you're more mature. When you're 6th graders, andan de chifladitos, and you're gonna see the rain coming out in during fall, and you're gonna want to push each other to the rain. You wanna walk in rain. But once you become more mature, 7th, 8th graders, never walk in rain. In case you forget, like how is it? Questions with this? Now the strategy that I use to help us with this is a Venn diagram. I'm gonna do a square. Let's do a circle because the square's in the picture already. We're going to make a circle and we're going to call that N. N for natural. Make another circle and guess who's next? Good. Make another circle and who's next? Good. And make another circle and rational. Now I want you to underline the WI, double underline it. And the reason I want you to do that is because that's what's going to be tested in 6th grade. Wholes, integers, rationals. Natural is for 7th, 8th grade. And that's our job. We're going to skip grades, hopefully. So that's why I'm throwing that at you already so you can have an idea what's going to happen. Okay? All the numbers that are counting numbers go in there. And 0 would be the only one over here right now. But let me explain now how this works. So I'm going to pause the video. Or maybe I shouldn't. No, I'm not going to pause the video. I'm going to explain it through here. Let me see. I'm going to use this guy. Because the kids get confused sometimes with reading Venn diagrams. Okay? Mira. I'm going to mark a mark here. If you're there, if you're red, what's the only thing that you belong in? Rational. That's it. Do you agree? Let me do the I. Integers. I'm going to mark them with a blue. If you're there, where do you belong? And you're inside of which ones? Look at it. Rational. You're inside the integer circle and the rational. So we have just learned, thanks to this Venn diagram, that the integer is also a rational. Okay? And I'll explain it right now as a student so you can get it. Let me get another color. Let's go with black. Black for sure is a what? A whole. But you're also a integer. And you're also a rational. So the wholes, they're with everybody. Wholes, integers, rational. Because you're inside all circles. How about natural? You're inside all of them. So you're a natural, a whole, an integer, and a rational. Questions? And to explain this better, let's think about you. Okay? If you're inside my room, you belong to Mr. Rivera. But because you belong to Mr. Rivera, you're also in sixth grade. But because you're in this class, you're also at FOG. But because you're at FOG, you're also at BISD. But because you're at BISD, you're also in Brownsville and so on. You get it? Now, the kids that are sitting next door, they're not with Mr. Rivera, but we can say they're in what? Sixth grade and FOG. The kids that are outside these buildings that are in the other buildings, we can say that they're maybe in seventh grade or eighth grade. Do you understand? But they're not with me. That's how this works. If you're inside the circle, the little one, you're inside all of them. The whole, you're inside the other ones. The only one that's only the lonely is who? Rational, which are your pieces, your decimals, fractions. Questions with a Venn diagram? No? Okay. Let me show you something else, one more thing, but this time I will pause the video. Because this one pues no va a salir en el video, so I'm going to pause you for now. That's For your homework, you're going to place -9 where you think it belongs. Okay? So let's do -9. I'll be nice with you. Where do you think we should place -9 here? What is he really at the beginning? Integer. And because he's integer, he's also what? A rational. Not a whole. He's outside the whole. He's not a whole. Okay? Let's try another one. 0. Where should I place 0? For sure, whole. Okay? Now, once you place them, you're going to go outside on the top, and you're going to summarize. You're going to say -9. You are an integer and a rational. 0. You are a what? A whole integer rational. 15. Where should I place 15? Good. Hold on. So, but we know something else about that one for it's not in our Venn diagram, but what else do we know about 15? He's a counting number, so we should put natural, whole, integer, rational. Underline these though, because this is really for sixth grade. In your start test, they're not going to tell you to put natural. I'm letting you know, I'm just pushing the natural for seventh, eighth grade. Who am I forgetting that I haven't placed not even once? Rational. Rational. Which of the numbers that are on top should we place in the rational section? A fraction, whichever you want. 2/3, right? So I'm going to go 2/3 and just put an R. That's all he is. Hold on. Once you're done, you're going to place the rest of them there. Do not do this part on the bottom, because I want to make sure that we understand so we don't mess up. Do not do this part on the bottom. You're just going to place the rest of the numbers here. Hold on. In the back page, you have something in the back page. This is so easy. Just answer. You're just going to find that 4 is the opposite of -4, right? So you're going to put a dot in -4 and a dot in 4 to show that they're opposites. So you're going to do the 2 number lines, and then you're done with today's homework and study the stuff. Tomorrow I continue. If you forget what's for today's homework, today we'll have a video in YouTube showing you what I just did with y'all. Okay?